Whatculture.
Disney. In 1964, Universal Studios opened as a theme park in Hollywood and has grown to rival the House of Mouse in LA, Florida, and Japan, offering amusement park thrills to those who prefer their roller coasters with less of a stench of mice about them. Universal Studios has been around for a big 50 years and has accrued plenty of weird little facts, Easter eggs, references, and odd details in all that time. Oh, and while I'm flying close to the sun, one more time, Disney. I'm just playing Mickey. You know I love you. I'm Adam from Whatculture.com, and here are 10 awesome things you didn't know about Universal Studios. Number 10. References to Jaws and Harry Potter. There are dozens of weird little quirks in the wizarding world of Harry Potter in the Orlando resort. Posters and real-life trains. If you purchase an interactive wand and wave it at certain features, they move or shoot water. And if you dial 62442, which spells out magic, in the phone booth at King's Cross Station, you're put through to the Ministry of Magic. Clever boys. However, not all in-jokes are to do with Harry of the Potter clan. There are a handful of references to Jaws, the ride, built in there, the famous attraction that was shut down to make room for the Wizarding World. In the record shop, there's an album called Here's to Swimming with Bow-Legged Women, a Quint quote from Jaws. The record is sung by the Quint Trio. There's some shark jaws in the apothecary shop, and the Shrunken Heads in Nocturne Alley sing Show Me the Way to Go Home, which the shark hunting lads sing in a famous scene. Number 9, the attractions become actual real-life sets, and so the circle of life is complete. Parody sets become actual sets in a beautiful Mobius strip of cost-cutting. Well, in some cases, it's not actually a bad plan, especially when you think about the Earthquake attraction, which is essentially a simulator of a real quake happening underground, replete with rushing water, fire, and falling debris. Turns out, building a set and rigging it to shake costs that hefty $1, so why not take the one you've already got, kick the dreadful general public off of it, and film there, which was most recently done for an episode of Bones. Number 8, it once cost a quarter. While the park dates back to 1964, like your mum does, the Universal Studios themselves were actually open to the public as early as 1915, like your dad was. Called back then Universal City. While there weren't any actual rides, or even that dainty old tram, for just 25 cents you could be given a special behind-the-scenes glimpse at movie making on the Hollywood lot. Lunch was even included in the price, which is a real deal, Titus O'Neill. 20,000 people showed up on the opening day in 1915, but the introduction of sound technology put paid to the attraction, with the awful sound of the awful public being picked up during production. Number 7, you can get paid for feedback. And hey, even if those prices have gone up in recent years, turns out there's a way for you to offset some of those costs. During certain times of the year, you can be scouted by recruiters that are wandering around the park. They'll ask you some questions, and based on your answers, will decide whether you're reliable enough to enter the preview center on Delancey Street. So far, this sounds very Scientology, but actually it's a way for Universal to test out various new shows, ads, trailers, and you're paid for the whole thing. Of course, you're being paid to not go on rides, which is bullshit, but some people like making bank, I guess. Number 6, hidden songs. On the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket roller coaster, one of the special features is that riders can listen to a selection of rock songs during their experience, like Sabotage by the Beastie Boys, You Can't Touch This by MC Hammer, or if you want to tempt fate, I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. However, in addition to the songs you know about, there are many hidden songs. To find them, press the logo you can see in your cart for 10 seconds, after which a keypad will appear, then enter a 3-digit code to get a hidden song, like 301 to play Float On by Modest Mouse, 112 gets you Freebird, and 902 plays Rainbow Connection from the Muppets movie, which we can all agree is hardcore. Number 5, Jim Carrey plays Mother. Some people worked on the Universal Studios tour in Hollywood before they made it big, notably Saturday Night Fever director John Badman, who was a tour guide. However, in the late 90s, someone who'd already made it big crashed the tour. Guides were showing guests the house from Psycho, when suddenly out of the house came someone dressed as Norman's mother carrying a knife, freaking out guests, and especially the guides, because they knew, hang on, that's not part of the tour. Turns out Mumsy was none other than Jim Carrey, doing a publicity stunt to get in character while playing Andy Kaufman, comedian and stunt artist extraordinaire for the Kaufman biopic, Man on the Moon. Number 4, there wasn't an actual ride for 30 years. Despite being open for 27 years, like your sister, 1991 was the year that the first actual ride was installed at Universal Studios in Hollywood. It sounds baffling now with all the rides and islands of adventure, but the big hook of the LA Universal Studios for years was the fact that it was built into a fully functioning movie studio. The tour was the big marquee experience, and the other attractions were more like exhibitions. That changed in 91 with the introduction of the E.T. adventure, which was imported from Universal Studios Florida, which had opened the year before, and with the success of that ride, they never looked back. Number 3, an homage to The Good Doctor. Seuss Landing is one of the islands of adventure added to the Orlando resort in the late 90s, inspired by the writings of the original DILF, Dr. Seuss. The love of the man's iconic works is built right into the architecture of Seuss Landing, and not only is the man himself visible as a flag-waving dignitary just off Mulberry Street, but the entire section of the park was built without a single straight line in its design. Number 2, the secret area. Not only is there a second secret entrance to the park, which opens at 10 AM and is a lot less busy, but on quiet days, visitors can request walking tours of some of the ride areas, including the recreated immigration room from the Men in Black ride, and backstage access and a personal history tour at the Hard Rock Cafe. And number 1, there's a piece of the Berlin Wall there. What? Why is there a piece of the Berlin Wall at Universal Studios? Shut up, says Universal Studios. We ask the questions around here. Yep, at Universal Studios Orlando, outside the Hard Rock Cafe, replete with musical memorabilia throughout the ages, there's an actual piece of historical hard rock, a slab from the infamous wall that separated West Berlin from the Eastern Bloc and served as a tangible monument of the Cold War. And what better way to show capitalism's utter crushing of communism than to have a piece of the Berlin Wall at Universal Studios, of all places. Smells like victory.
Victory!
And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Tell us about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter here. I'm Adam from Whatculture.com, and I'll see you soon.